morning. I'm Keven Eknes. I'm a guitarist from Nashville, Norway actually. But I live in Nashville now, making a full-time living off of performing. Today I wanted to talk to you about chords, and essentially what a chord is more notes than just an interval. The first chord type we're going to take a look at are triads, and it's in a name. What we're doing is stacking thirds. So for the first type of triad we're going to take a look at, which is the major triad, we're stacking a minor third on top of a major third. So in other words, from the root, major third, minor third from that one. So in other words, we have a major third and we have a perfect fifth. Likewise, just the opposite is how we get the minor triad. It's a major third stacked on top of a minor third. So in other words, from the root, minor, major third. Minor triad. We have two more common types of triads. The first one is the augmented triad, which is two major thirds stacked on top of each other. So the intervals we have is a major third and an augmented fifth. Augmented triad. And opposite of that, we have the diminished triad, which is two minor thirds stacked on top of each other. So minor third, minor third. The intervals we have here is a minor third and a diminished fifth. Diminished triad. We're gonna be a little bit crazy and stack another third on top of that. So in other words, on top of the fifth, we have a major third, which turns into a major seven. So in other words, the major seventh chord. The next kind of seventh chord we have is a minor third stacked on top of a minor triad. So in other words, there's a minor seventh from the root. But what happens if we put a major third on top of a minor triad? We get a minor major seventh, because it's a major seventh from the root, but it's a minor chord because we have the minor third. Likewise opposite, what happens if we have a minor third on top of a major triad? It's called dominant because it really leads to somewhere. So in other words, this leads to here. You've heard it a million times. We have a minor seventh from the root and a major third, dominant seven. But what happens if we add the seventh note on top of a diminished chord or an augmented? If we put a minor seven on top of an augmented chord, we get what we call an altered dominant. We also have diminished seven, which is double flat seven. The reason why I call it a double flat is the same note as a major sixth, but the function is it's the seventh note, but it's not a major seven and it's not a minor seven. It's one step lower than that, it's a diminished seven. If that's not good enough for you, we can add a minor seven on top of a diminished triad. In other words, we get which is called a half diminished chord or a minor seven flat five chord. We have a minor seven, it's a minor chord, and we have a flat five, diminished five, whatever you want to call it. Psst. There's a million ways and variations to play each individual chord, but this is just the basic theory essential behind it. You want more chord theory? I better get a new coffee. What we can do from there is stack another third on top of the 7th, which gives us a 9. Or stack another third on top of the 9th, which gives us an 11. Or a third on top of that, which gives us 13. Obviously, with the nature of the guitar, we can't just keep stacking thirds upon thirds because we only have 4 available fingers. So, with all these lovely sounding intervals, we gotta let one of them go, which is gonna be the 5th more often than not. So in other words, we can add the 9th on top of to get a major 9. However, if the major is not specified, you have to assume that it's a dominant chord, which has the flat 7. Or you can have a minor 9. Adding the 11th, the same rules kind of apply. Adding it on top of a minor 9 chord, or just an 11 chord. However, if we add it on top of a major 9, it's gonna sound like this. Which sounds disgusting. In other words, if we have an 11 chord in a major setting, it's often sharp 11. Stacking the 13 on top of a major chord, or a dominant chord. Similar to major, we don't see minor 13 very often. It's something called minor 6th, which is this. Which reminds me that we have something called add chords. Add 9, add 4, as some of the more common ones. What's that? Those are all those notes we're talking about. 9, 11, 13. It sounds like A minor, doesn't it? Well, it is. So it's the 9, 11, and 13 adds up for another triad. It does. And those kind of triads that are made up of all those upper extensions are what we call upper structure triads. Don't forget our good buddy diminished. What happens when we stack more minor thirds on top of the diminished 7? They just keep repeating. Nothing else to talk about that. Augmented 7. The way we extend that is we call it altered. Basically what you do, you alter any of the notes. The only notes that's gotta stay is the root, the minor 7, and the major third. From there you can change whatever you want. What if the chords are not stacked in thirds, you say? Well, as for non-tertian chords, is that the right word? I'm foreign. I'm not English is not my native language. You have something called sus chords, which is where the third is suspended, either up or down. So in other words, the third becomes 4 or 2, sus 2, sus 4. We also have fourths chords. Another cool sound is stacking fourths. Fourth, fourth, fourth. Or stacking fifths for a very nice open sound. Psst. Or we have cluster chords, which are my favorite. Cluster chords take advantage of the minor second interval that's in the scale that you're doing. So that's the whole lesson for next time. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you learned a thing or two, and let me know in the comments below what you think of it. Remember to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to keep these kind of lessons going. Again, my name is Keven Eknes, and I hope you shred hard tonight.